Hello, it's Wednesday, the 15th of April. There's Tom saying hi to you. And of course I got my cat who wants to try to knock over my tripod all the time. So this is the 15th of April. It's normally it would be tax day. So your parents would have to send in their tax returns, but you know, don't have to worry about that this year. They give us an extension so we can take our time getting this turned in. Anyway, so April 15th, middle of the month. And it's a time of change, transition, right? We've talked about that all along with chapter 17 with the Middle Ages, this time of transition and change between the ancient times and modern times. Our weather is transitioning. One day it's 70 degrees and the next day it's freezing out in the morning. So that's where we are right now. So we talked before, one of the things I mentioned earlier was I talked about the women, the role of women in the Middle Ages. Wrapping up chapter 17, section 3, I talked about women like Eleanor of Aquitaine and how Eleanor was a very powerful woman. Most women didn't have power at all. They were property. You're born, you're the property of your father. And then when you get married, you're the property of your husband. And you have important rules in the society, taking care of the children and managing the household, very important. But as far as authority, women just didn't have it in the Middle Ages. And that's common in the ancient world. So ladies, be glad you were born in this time period and you're living in the 2000s here in Ohio. You have more freedom and more power than pretty much any women in the history of the world. So you're in good hands. But women had, like I said, important rules. We also mentioned about the small villages. I hope you watched the video, Life in the Middle Ages. It's a good one. If you can't get it to work for whatever reason, what I link to you, it's also on YouTube. I can send you the link for it. Just send me a message, an email, and I'll do that. But Cranach, living in his little village, is a typical village in that time period. Very small villages, very isolated. Again, the feudal system. And this is going to change. What's going to happen over time is the feudal system is going to break up. I mentioned a little bit yesterday about the growth of trade after the Vikings left, after some of those threats disappeared. Things got moving. Trade back and forth between towns, between cities, make the cities grow. You have more people going to the cities to work, leaving the rural little tiny villages and going where there was work to be done in the cities. And so we're going to see the cities get much larger. And that's going to end the feudal system. The feudal system is not going to make it, not going to survive. It just doesn't, it was made for its time period. It offered the protection that it needed to at the time, but it wasn't practical long term. It's like our little isolation we have going on with our quarantine. It's serving its purpose now, keeping people isolated. Hopefully it'll stop the spread of the disease any further than it has, but it's not going to last. As soon as the coronavirus works its way out, and it will, we're going to get back out there and we're going to be moving around doing our thing, and we're going to be bigger and better than ever, and our economy is going to get going again and things are going to get right back to normal. Same kind of thing that happened during the Middle Ages. So that basically wraps up chapter 17, section 3. So you need to take your quiz today, you need to turn your study guide in today. So hopefully you've done that. And we're going to move on to section 4. And section 4 is going to talk about this lord-vassal relationship where there was a portion of everything that the Lord, the Lord gained from whatever he gave to the vassal. He has his knight, his loyal knight. He rewards the knight. I dub thee Sir whatever, right? In the knighting ceremony. And Sir so-and-so, the knight, will then pay a percentage of everything he makes from the farm, from the manor, to the Lord, and the Lord will profit from that. And of course the Lord then pays taxes, a portion of that up to the king. So it just moves up. They also pay the church. The church is important during this time period as well. And so the church is going to get a fraction of everybody's products. It's going to get a fraction of everything, and it's usually a tenth of what everybody makes. A tenth is where we get the word tithe. It's a derivation of that tenth. So the tithe was 10% of your income going to the church. And we're going to see in chapter 18 how the church is going to become extremely wealthy and extremely powerful. And so, but right now, this chapter 17, section 4, to wrap up chapter 17, talks about the knights, specifically about what types of armor they wore. Compare that to the samurai. We'll talk more about the knights and their armor and the samurai. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. So enjoy your day. Hope you have a good one. Take care.